Supreme King is finally here, and with the release of the new mini box, psych! Anyway, we finally have Evil Hero support, making way for a new King of Games worthy deck. The deck list on screen are the two builds I used to get cogged this season. The list focuses more on text in the form of Book of Money and Treacherous Trap Hole, which I used to climb from Legend 1 to Legend 3. And the deck list focused on the Neos engine, which I took from Legend 3 all the way to Cog before the ban list had taken into effect, aka when the latter was filled with plenty of Rhinoceros from pre-ban list Onomat and Thunder Dragon players. Starting with the similarities, both builds are based around the skill Sinister Calling, which lets you discard an Evil Hero monster to either add a Dark Calling or Dark Fusion card to your hand, or place a certain card to the graveyard. The skill works twofold, setting up the field and graveyard while searching the cards needed to set up the board to make an aggressive OTK. The skill comes with big restrictions, requiring the main deck to include a combination of at least 10 Evil Hero monsters, Dark Calling, and Dark Fusion, while also restricting the main deck to Evil Heroes and Elemental Heroes only, and restricting the extra deck to Fusion monsters only. Despite these restrictions, the skill ends up being pretty worthwhile for the consistency it adds to an otherwise bricky playstyle. A typical turn 1 involves using the skill to send Evil Hero Sinister Necrom from outside of the deck to the graveyard. While in the grave, you could banish Necrom to special summon any Evil Hero monster from the deck. One of the best types of effects in the game, special summoning any monster from the deck with no restrictions is a huge benefit. 99% of the time, the monster summoned off Necrom's effect is Evil Hero Malicious Edge. Malicious Edge seems underwhelming on the surface. A level 7 monster that basically just pierces. It becomes a lot more menacing when you can cheat straight out of the deck before even committing your normal summon. Malicious Edge also ends up being essential for creating our quote-unquote boss monster, Evil Hero Malicious Fiend, which we can make by fusing Malicious Edge with any level 6 or higher Fiend type monster, which tends to be another copy of Malicious Edge. Malicious Fiend is essentially a 3500 attack beater that forces all of your opponent's monsters into attack position if they dare enter the battle phase, and forces them to attack Malicious Fiend only. Only worthwhile thanks to the skill, the typical play is to use the second effect of the skill to add Dark Calling to the hand, which can be used to fuse into an Evil Hero monster by banishing materials from the hand or grave. By discarding a Malicious Edge summoned off of Necrom to the grave, summoning Malicious Fiend ends up being pretty efficient. Realistically, the deck only summons one Malicious Fiend per duel, but I played 2 copies as the second Malicious Fiend can be made using the first Malicious Fiend as the level 6 or higher monster if the first one was ever sent to the graveyard. As Dark Calling doesn't use the field, we need to find a way to get Malicious Edge summoned off of Necrom to the graveyard. To do this, we play Mass Change, which also gives us access to the Mask Hero Fusion monsters. With Mass Change, the deck not only gets added power, it also gets a way to dodge interruption. As Malicious Edge is an Earth attribute, we can use Malicious Edge to summon Masked Hero Diane. When Diane destroys a monster by battle, it can special summon a level 4 or lower hero monster from the deck, the target being Elemental Hero Stratos. Stratos is our consistency card, allowing us to either non-target pop back row up to the number of other hero monsters we control or search any hero card. We typically use Stratos to either search a Malicious Edge to discard for the skill, or just another copy of Stratos to use for the follow-up turn. The flexibility the two effects provide raises the ceiling of the deck significantly whenever we see Stratos in hand, allowing us to consistently maintain advantage or put pressure on the opponent's back row. With Mass Change, Stratos could be used to make Masked Hero Blast, which can have a monster's attack on summon and bounce back row during either player's turn at the cost of 500 life points, providing another avenue to play through back row without having to add in cards like Mystical Space Typhoon to the deck. To fill out the Evil Hero requirement for the skill, we play Evil Hero Infernal Prodigy and Evil Hero Infernal Gainer. Infernal Gainer can temporarily banish itself to let our Malicious Edge or Malicious Fiend attack twice, which is underwhelming, but can come up, especially as a way to play around cards such as Treacherous Trap Hole. Being an Earth monster, Infernal Gainer can also be another way to make Masked Hero Diane off a Mass Change. Infernal Prodigy, meanwhile, can special summon itself if we control no monsters. While typically used as discard fodder for skill, the extra summon works well with Stratos to help destroy additional back row. It could also draw a card in the end phase if used for a tribute summon. This is supposed to synergize with Malicious Edge, but you're going to be resolving this effect a total of 0 times. Being a dark attribute, Prodigy lets us go into Masked Hero Anki with Mass Change to attack directly for 1400 or search another Mass Change after destroying a monster. The remainder of the deck is Tex. With the Neos package, Neos Fusion lets us summon Elemental Hero Brave Neos using the deck as fusion materials. The package conflicts with Mass Change as Neos Fusion prevents special summoning for the rest of the turn, but the extra body and destruction protection Neos Fusion provides ends up being a worthwhile investment depending on what decks are most common, and provides the deck with its safest turn 1 play. Neos is helpful in a meta filled with non-targeting destruction, which was valuable when Digital Bug Rhinoceros was common prior to the latest ban list, alongside other decks such as Cyber Dragons. With Neos in the mix, I also teched in a copy of Masked Hero Koga, which can be a nice monster to go into in a pinch when needing a beater that can significantly reduce the attack of the opponent's monsters. When non-targeting destruction is less prevalent, more copies of text such as Book of Money and Treacherous Trap Hole powerful, end up being helpful to set up interruption turn 1 while we're getting ready to OTK turn 3. With the deck thinning from both the skill and from Stratos, drawing into these decks as the duel draws on can also be helpful. Of course, if you're not insane and haven't invested any money into getting a playset of Book of Moon, Forbidden Chalice ends up being a more than worthwhile alternative. Chalice is also nice to give our monsters some extra power, such as to allow 2 Stratos on the field to reach 4,000 damage and to negate Anki's effect in the damage step to deal 3,200 direct attack damage while the opponent still controls a monster. The other benefit of removing the Neos package is to be able to play more copies of the other Mass Hero cards, particularly more copies of Diane and Anki in cases when we'd have multiple copies of Mass Change in hand, since we can, for example, use Diane to summon another Diane in situations where we need to dodge disruption or just get an additional attack for the win. And that's the deck. Overall, the climb to Cog was incredibly difficult, with decks such as Onomats, Thunder Dragons, and Harpies all being able to consistently put pressure on us while having more consistency and a more flexible toolbox to deal with us. The climb was definitely filled with a lot of luck, and spoiler alert, the person we faced for our Cog breakup was 100% going to win but surrendered out of sheer pity, but you didn't hear it from me. The deck definitely doesn't feel like it can compete with the tiered decks, but the playstyle is different enough from other strategies that it was a refreshing, if not incredibly annoying, breath of fresh air. And next up, time for some replays. No! We are going second now versus Yami Bakura, playing a 28 card deck, so we're still going to be assuming that this might be Fiend's Farewell Thunder Dragon. So they're going to be activating Charge of the Light Brigade, milling Thunder Dragon Dark, Levineer, and the Temperance to add Raiden from the deck to the hand. Raiden's going to normal summon, which is going to allow them to mill 2 Levineer. Now we know they have all 3 Levineers in the graveyard alongside the milled Melody and Thunder Dragon Hawk. So this is probably the best case scenario we could ever hope for. So we're going to try to capitalize on this. As we special summon the Prodigy, we're going to normal summon the Stratos, adding another Stratos from the deck to the hand, and then we're going to Sinister Calling, discard the Malicious Edge so we could place that Necrom and banish it to special summon a Malicious Edge from the deck. Going to the battle phase, we're going to destroy the Raiden, we're going to attack for 2,600, see if there are any Veils, and since there are, we're going to then activate the Mass Change onto the Inferno Prodigy so we could special summon Anki, attacking into that Veil so that we could search a Mass Change from the deck to the hand. Now we know that we don't have lethal, even though we had like 4 different attacks potentially, so we're just going to end our turn, and they're going to activate Fiend Farewell to mill the Chaos Betrayer. Chaos Betrayer is then going to banish both the Dragon Dark as well as the Temperance to special summon Betrayer onto the field, which can then on summon banish our Malicious Edge. Mildly inconvenient because now this is going to make going into Malicious Fiend a little more difficult, but we have other power plays. As they add the Dragon Roar from the deck to the hand, they're then going to be normal summoning the Lupine to banish that Dragon Roar alongside another Dragon Dark from the deck. They already activated Dragon Dark's effect, so they could only activate Dragon Roar's effect to special summon the Dragon Hawk from the deck, making a rank 6. They have M7. Now usually this would be used to bounce us, but for once we don't have to worry about that, as they use it to grab back their Levineer instead, and then special summoning the Levineer by banishing the Raiden, the Dragon Hawk, and another Levineer, which both sets up the Levineer in the banish pile whenever they do get their Lupine destroyed, as well as just blowing up our board. They also mulligan 1 using Dragon Hawk's effect, destroy our Malicious Edge and Anki, and attack into Stratos, completely clearing our board, dealing 1,700 direct damage with Lupine and leaving us with just 1,400 life points left. On our turn, we're going to special summon that Prodigy. We're going to normal summon the Stratos so we could search from deck to the hand another Malicious Edge. They may have banished 1, but we still have enough so that we could use skill to discard the 3rd one, adding Dark Calling, and then using Dark Calling so that we could fusion into the Malicious Fiend. Activating Mass Change, we figure we're going to have to use it, otherwise we're going to die. We're going to go ahead and make Anki, which is going to attack into that M7. M7 is going to allow us to search the Mass Change from the deck to the hand. We're going to attack into Levineer, and since we felt some delay after our attacks, we knew that if we killed this Lupine, they would have enough free reign to be able to grab that Levineer from the banish pile back to the hand and just kill us. So instead, they're going to be forced to use the effect of the Chaos Betrayer yet again to banish both Levineer and M7 to summon the body, and then banish their Stratos for whatever reason. Normal summoning the Lupine, I think they just got desperate at this point. By going into a rank 4 now, they pretty much decided to lose, because now, while they could temporarily clear our board by banishing our Malicious Fiend temporarily, and then go into Dragon Hawk to special summon a rank 6 afterwards, Bouncer is not going to do anything here. They're going to kill the Stratos, they're going to boost by 300, they're not going to be able to kill Anki, and we're going to be able to grab back the Malicious Fiend, and now we have Infernal Gainer, who can easily become a Diane with the Mass Change that we searched previously. We're going to attack, we're going to attack, we're going to attack, and now we have lethal, and that is GG. No! We are going first versus Cyber Dragons now, at least I assume, considering it's Zane. And honestly, good timing, because the Cyber Dragon matchup is honestly miserable otherwise because of the non-targeting destruction removal that Cybernetic Overflow provides to that deck. So having Neos Fusion protection is honestly extremely good in this matchup, and we just so happen to have the best hand we could ask for if we had to go turn 1 here. So we're going to go ahead and do our best turn 1 play, which is Stratos Search Stratos. Stratos Search Stratos is just so nice because it gives our follow-up so much flexibility, being able to either threaten back row destruction or just search whatever card we need, which could be another Stratos or just a Malicious Edge to discard for skill. So we're going to go ahead and use skill now to discard the Infernal Gainer so we could place the Necrom to the graveyard, banishing the Necrom to special summon the Malicious Edge, and then activate Neos Fusion to send Infernal Prodigy just to get out of the deck, as well as Elemental Hero Neos to summon the Brave Neos protected by Neos Fusion. We're not setting Mass Change because Cyber Dragons do be tending to vanish our back row, so we're just going to make it a little more difficult for them to do so. We feel very protected now with 2 big beaters, 1 with destruction protection, but Herald of the Abyss is going to say of course they have it. Cyber Dragons always have whatever they need. Paying 1500 to be able to non-destructively get rid of our Brave Neos, and then chaining Cosmic Cyclone to their own Herald of the Abyss just to get their life points below 2000. This is why we didn't set Mass Change. But regardless, they still have a way to pop off, and the good thing here is even though they got rid of our Brave Neos, we still have another monster with more attack than Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon. So they're going to skill to play 2 Proto Cybers, summon the Cyber Dragon Corp, because of course searching Cybernetic Overflow from the deck to the hand, and then activating the Cyberload Fusion that they of course had to make the Cyber Twin Dragon. They had to go into this because the Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon was not strong enough to be able to kill the Malicious Edge. So they're going to still double back row set because of course they can, and then they're going to attack the Stratos and the Malicious Edge with the Cyber Twin Dragon and end their turn. The good thing here is that we're pretty much set up for the follow-up, and we ripped into the best top deck that we could have asked for in this situation. Stratos is going to allow us to search the Malicious Edge from the deck to the hand, and then Sinister Calling is going to allow us to discard that Malicious Edge so we can add Dark Calling from the deck to the hand. Dark Calling going to allow us to banish both Malicious Edge so we can make Malicious Fiend. And in most situations, this would be not enough because we know that they have the pop. Fortunately for us, they did it early, but even if they waited till the battle phase, we still had it out thanks to Book of Moon. We're going to activate it now so we could send that Proto Cyber down face down position, which means it is no longer considered a Cyber Dragon, which means that it can no longer be banished by the effect of Cybernetic Overflow. So now we're going to go ahead, use Stratos to attack into the Proto Cyber just because we can, and then as we declare attack with the Malicious Fiend into the Cyber Twin Dragon, we're going to chain well, not chain, but you know what I mean. Use the Mass Chain so we could send the Stratos to the graveyard, summoning the Blast, which can then reduce the attack of the Twin by half, and that is lethal. We are going second versus a 30-card Supreme King deck. So once again, we're going to be assuming that this is Thunder Dragons, but lo and behold, we have been shooked as they activate Neos Fusion in the dirty card deck, by the way, to send Neos from the deck as well as Infernal Gainer to summon Brave Neos. This is control evil heroes with a 30-card deck, so they could pretty much hope to be able to, at least worst case scenario, be able to summon Malicious Edge, 2600 attack beater alongside 3 very, very powerful traps, and that seems to be what they're doing now, setting 3 background, ending their turn. But we have ourselves a very cheeky play. As we go ahead, we special summon Infernal Prodigy, getting ourselves an additional body on the field. Then we're going to discard the Infernal Gainer to get Necrom in the graveyard, banishing it to special summon Malicious Edge from the deck. Now we have 2 monsters on the field. They are going to be activating Floodgate Trap Hole, so we are going to be chaining the Mass Change. Since it's chain link 2, any subsequent floodgates will miss timing and not be able to flip down the Diane. Now we're going to normal summon the Stratos, and with 2 other hero monsters on the field, we're going to activate the effect to pop the remainder of their 2 back row. They're going to respond with Book of Moon onto the Stratos, to which we're going to respond with Mass Change, and they're going to respond with Book of Moon on the Diane, to which we say, whatever, fine, we'll take it. Now we got rid of all their back row, and we're going to be able to use the effect of Blast so that we could reduce the attack of the Brave Neos by half. We're going to attack into the Brave Neos. It's going to get protected by the Neos Fusion, but its attack reduction is going to be permanent. Now on their turn, they are going to be setting a back row off the top of their deck, attacking into the Prodigy. We're going to chain to, well, not chain, you know what I mean. We're going to use Blast effect while it's still the battle phase so that we can return that back row back to the hand. And even though they're going to get to search the Neos Fusion from the deck to the hand, we pretty much have guaranteed lethal now if I had to TBH. So we're going to rip into the Book of Moon, set it just because we can, flip up the Diane. Diane's going to destroy the Brave Neos, which is going to allow us to search from the deck the Stratos, and not just search, special summon it straight from the deck. Stratos going to get to search on summon another Stratos, and that is game. Through the Sphere Kariba that they 100% are aren't allowed to play.
Few inches later.
We are going first now versus My Valentine, and they are going to be activating the skill Harpie's Hunting Ground, which means we could probably expect that this is Harpies unless this is some crazy Tri-Midget bait. As we go ahead, we're going to activate the skill so we could discard the Malicious Edge so we could place the Necrom into the graveyard. Banishing the Necrom, we're going to special summon from the deck another Malicious Edge, set a monster, and end our turn. We unfortunately didn't really get the chance to draw into any text, so we just had to hope for the best that they either don't go aggressive and OTK us, or even if they go aggressive that we could somehow survive and somehow stand a chance to do something for the follow-up. So on their turn, they're going to be normal summoning the Chandler, going to be destroying their own HAG since they have nothing on our side to pop, discarding the Perfumer with Chandler. They're going to special summon the Perfumer from the deck to search the Harpie's Fed Arrest from the deck to the hand, and then synchro summon into the Cyber/Harpie Lady. Activating the Harpie's Fed Arrest, they're going to return 3 Harpies to the deck to draw 2 and chain the Cyber/ to bounce Malicious Edge back to the hand. Then they're going to set a back row, activate another HHG just for more power, and attack into our face-down Infernal Prodigy. Now, one back row set, that's not the craziest thing for us to deal with, and we rip into Stratos, so we're going to try to do something crazy. We're going to special summon the Prodigy in the hand, so we have one additional monster on top of the Stratos we're about to summon, and we're not going to search for Stratos. Instead, we're going to force the back row now by activating Stratos' Destruction effect, which is going to force them to activate their Treacherous Trap Hold to pop both monsters on our field. And in most cases, we'd be done, but we have skills. We're going to discard the second Malicious Edge to add Dark Calling from the deck to the hand, and now we have 2 Malicious Edge in the graveyard, so we're going to banish both of them so we can summon the Evil Hero Malicious Fiend, which is significantly stronger than their lone Cyber/ on the field. We're going to attack, and we're going to successfully destroy Cyber/ and end our turn. Not a lot for us, but we're just going to pray that they don't draw into any spells traps ever. As they normal summon the Perfumer, they're going to be destroying their own HAG once again, and adding an Elegant Egotist from the deck to the hand, which guarantees they have a Cyber/ for the follow-up. Elegant Egotist is going to special summon the Harpie Lady 1 from the deck and then go into Cyber/ Harpie Lady number 2. Harpie Oracle going to special summon Defense Position, which is going to allow them to grab in the end phase, and now it's the end phase, adding a Harpie's Fed Arrest from the graveyard back to the hand, which means they have nothing but monsters in the hand, which means we might have some actual time to do anything. We're going to rip into Infernal Gainer, so we're going to normal summon it, giving ourselves another body, attacking with Infernal Gainer to destroy Oracle, and attacking with the Malicious Fiend to destroy the Cyber/. We're going to end our turn. We decided there was no point in using Infernal Gainer's effect to double attack with Malicious Fiend just because it wouldn't grant us any extra damage, and I figured the extra body on board would be at least somewhat helpful for us to be able to put pressure on the opponent. So they're going to go ahead, normal summon yet another Harpie Perfumer, adding another Elegant Egotist from the deck to the hand, special summoning from the hand the Harpie Lady 1, and then having to use the Harpie's Feather Arrest first because we've already gotten rid of 2 Cyber/ Harpie Ladies, so that to return 1 back to the extra deck so they could synchro summon into it, since 2 seems to be standard. Synchro summoning into the attack position, Cyber/, special summoning Oracle yet again, going into the battle phase, still no text, forcing the Oracle into attack position thanks to Malicious Fiend's effect, and Malicious Fiend will force the Cyber/ Harpie Lady to attack it, and that's pretty much it. There's no way they're recovering from that, so that is a scoop. Why'd you enter the battle phase, bro? No! We are going first versus Supreme King, and it looks like now they have themselves a 20-card deck, so this might actually be an Evil Hero mirror match. So we have pretty much as good of a hand as we could ask for, sans the Dark Calling, but that's okay, we can't have it all. We're going to immediately activate the Neos Fusion so that we can send both Elemental Hero Neos as well as Infernal Prodigy from the deck to the graveyard to summon Elemental Hero Brave Neos. Normal summoning the Stratos, we're going to search another Stratos for follow-up, and then we're going to bluff set the Dark Calling as well as the Mass Change. We might not be able to use the Mass Change on this turn due to the Neos Fusion restriction, but we can certainly use it for the follow-up. We figured it's better not to go ahead and activate skill to send a malicious monster or an evil hero monster to the graveyard because we'd have to search it with Stratos, and honestly I felt comfortable with the board we had as is, and I'd rather have consistency with the Stratos search for the follow-up. So on their turn they're going to normal summon Stratos, searching a Vision Hero Ferris, which means this is not evil heroes, it is instead Destiny Heroes. So they're going to discard the malicious with the Ferris so they can special summon the Ferris and play increase in the spell and trap zone, banishing malicious to special summon another malicious from the deck, and then tributing all 3 to special summon Plasma that they hard open. Plasma is then going to attempt to suck up the Brave Neos, but we're going to respond with that Mass Change so we could then send that Brave Neos to the graveyard instead, summoning the Kogas so that they're stuck with their 1900 attack Plasma, and we have ourselves a bigger beater to deal with them. So then they're going to use the effect of the increase so they could tribute the Plasma, special summoning the increase into the field, and then special summoning from the deck the Vion, which on summon will allow them to mill the Destiny Hero Celestial. And then they're going to activate the Vion's effect to banish the Fairs to add polymerization from the deck to the hand, activating polymerization so they could send boat increase from the hand as well as the field to the graveyard so they could summon Adoration. They have plays on plays. They're going in. Adoration going to go ahead and reduce Koga's attack by 1,000, which is going to be down to its original attack. And then they're going to go ahead attack into Stratos with the Adoration. I felt the delay, so I figured there's going to be a mass change incoming. So we wait. We don't use the effect of the Koga. Only if they attacked with the Adoration onto the Koga would we use Koga's effect. So they're going to go ahead, activate the mass change onto Vion, which is going to allow them to make Anki. Anki is not going to attack into Koga because they know what happens if they do. Worst comes to worst, if they attacked with Adoration into Koga, we would have destroyed the Adoration, and then they would have been able to make Anki using Vion, and then search another mass change afterwards, but we still would have been in a good position and not OTK'd. So, even though they attacked directly, we're still going to banish Neo, so we could reduce their attack by 2,500, which means they only attack directly for 150. Now in our turn, we're going to normal summon Stratos, and search another Stratos, which we already have an Evil Hero card to discard. We're going to discard Infernal Prodigy, so we could place the Necrom into the graveyard, banishing it, so we could special summon Malicious Edge from the deck. Going to the battle phase, we're going to attack with Koga and into the Anki, and before we do so, we're just going to stylistically banish the Elemental Hero Neo so we could reduce the attack of the Adoration by 2,500. Anchor is going to play in the Spell and Trap Zone, but it does not matter. Malicious Edge is going to destroy the Adoration, and Stratus is going to go for game. We are going second now versus Onomats, and honestly, we really do prefer going second versus Onomats unless we draw an attack like TTH or Book of Moon that somehow can't be MST'd, because otherwise the matchup is really rough, even with Neos Fusion, just because M7 does tend to bully us. So we have ourselves a pretty decent hand, no Stratos, but with Neos Fusion more than makes up for that. They're gonna go ahead and activate the Onomata plays so they can reveal the Dodo draw and instead add the Gagaga Sister from the deck to the hand. Gagaga Sister is gonna normal summon to add Gagaga Bolt from the deck to the hand, and then they're going to be revealing that code, special summoning it, and then using the Sister's effect so they could make both monsters level 6, making a turn 1 Photon Strike Bouncer, setting a back row, and ending their turn. No delays thus far. This might be an MST, so we're just going to go in. Special summoning the Infernal Prodigy. We're going to, for once, unironically use the effect of the Malicious Edge, which will allow us to tribute using one monster since they control monster, tributing over the Infernal Prodigy that we special summon. And then we're gonna go ahead and discard the Malicious Edge in the hand so that we could place the Necrom into the graveyard from outside the deck, banishing the Necrom to special summon another Malicious Edge, and then we're going to be activating Neos Fusion, sending another Infernal Prodigy from the deck as well as Neos from the deck to the graveyard so we can summon Brave Neos. We felt the delay when we activated Neos Fusion, so that implies it was MST or Cosmic Cyclone. So now Brave Neos is going to be more than strong enough to be able to deal with the bouncer, searching a Neos Fusion after destroying it, and then we have OTK with the 2 Malicious Edge we were able to summon on the same turn. Didn't even need mass change.